long history for sleep. Why you wouldn't last a day in ancient Egypt. You opened your eyes in a clay hut under a damp reed thatch. The light slowly creeping in, barely brightening the shadowy corners. The air was thick with the scent of smoke from last night's cooking and the musty aroma of damp straw. A family of fleas might have been your first companions. They seemed to have declared war the moment you shifted under the thin blanket. Insects buzzing softly. With a soft groan, you sat up, feeling the chill of the morning creep through the ragged quilt. You had visions of glorious pyramids and sun-kissed sands when you longed to escape to this place. But the reality was a cold, hard wake-up call. Your bones ached from the uneven ground beneath, and as you stood, a shiver racked your body, wind rustling through the straws. The only sound besides the distant clucking of chickens was the persistent call of a moth, desperately seeking the last flickering traces of flame. Time to sweep the dirt floor, you thought. Ah yes, the glamorous life of modern Egypt. Well, perhaps not so modern. With a worn broom made of twigs, you swept the ground, pushing around dirt and debris while nimble shadows danced at the edges of your vision. Soft thuds of broom against the floor. As your hands ached from the monotonous task, you pondered the joys of this recent existence. Fun fact, sweeping dirt only makes more dirt. How exciting! You chuckled gently to yourself, pondering how easily you could bend the rules of time and take a day off. But alas, ancient history had other plans. Silence. 3 seconds. After your riveting encounter with the broom, it was time for breakfast, or as you liked to call it, stir the pottage and wait. You grabbed a wooden spoon and sloshed around the thin soup, a concoction teetering on the edge of inedible. The thick aroma wafted through the air, a mixture of grains and a hint of something that might have once resembled vegetable. Delicious, you grinned, imagining a chef from a far-off, dignified city cringing at your culinary handiwork. By now, the sun had cast a venomous glare through the small cracks in your wall. You could almost hear the call of the market, distant sounds of bargaining and laughter, as you continued your grueling routine. The nearby village toiled in harmony, completely unconcerned about the hurdles you faced. What a blessing it is to be here, you mused dryly, wondering how they had managed to find boredom and chaos in equal measure. And then, as you continued the unrelenting cycle of household chores, you felt a growing heaviness behind your eyelids. Maybe just a moment's rest before the next thrilling episode of your day, perhaps. But then a horn sounded in the distance, the kind that was never a good sign. Your heart began to race. Hey! Before Morpheus fully embraces you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Take a moment to leave a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this calm corner alive. Thanks for being part of it. Boring history for sleep, a disturbing truth in ancient Egypt. You felt your heart pound as the blaring horn echoed through the dusty village, slicing through your thoughts. The familiar sounds of daily life dimmed, replaced by a growing unease. You dropped the wooden spoon, watching it splash into the thin soup. The villagers, your neighbors, innocuous farmers and traders, were suddenly on high alert. Eyes darted toward the horizon, where an ominous cloud loomed, darker than the gray sky. Distant murmurs of worry. Barely catching your breath, you stepped outside, the sharp wind biting at your skin. People gathered in clusters, whispers swirling like the dust around their feet. Fear choked the air, palpable and thick. What could have caused this disturbance? Then you saw them, figures clad in dark robes, emerging from the haze, a procession moving with unnatural urgency. They were not villagers. They bore insignias, marking them as members of the Pharaoh's secret council. A shiver ran down your spine. Crackling of twigs beneath hurried footsteps. As they approached the village, something shifted in your gut. These were not the emissaries of peace. No, they communicated with harsh gestures and mistrustful glances, casting shadows over the sun-bathed sand. You could practically taste the tension, saltier than the last of your cooking. You moved closer to the throng of villagers, heart racing. "What do they want?" you murmured to the group. "We pay our taxes. We work hard." An elderly man shook his head, his brows knitted tight. "They've come with accusations," he rasped, voice trembling. "The crops, there are whispers of blight. They think it's intentional." Intentional? Your mind raced. Had the village been sabotaged? The very idea sent a chill radiating through your bones. The simple life you craved was now a breeding ground for suspicion. Suddenly, a heavy silence filled the air. The dark figures stopped, and the lead figure stepped forward, a tall man whose eyes burned with a fierce light. He spoke, voice echoing off the clay walls. "The Pharaoh demands accountability. We must find the traitor among you." A sharp intake of breath from the crowd. Panic swept through the villagers like an unyielding current. Accusations began to fly. Fingers pointed. The murmurs grew louder, a cacophony of fear and anger. In the turmoil, you noticed the leader's gaze scanning the crowd slowly, piercing through uncertainties. And then he locked eyes with you. A slow smile curled his lips, as if recognizing an unexpected pawn in this unfolding drama. Everything went still. Was it fear that hitched your breath, or something darker? You stumbled back, heart pounding wildly. Could they know? In that moment, uncertainty wrapped around you, thick and heavy. The peaceful village life you'd known, with its mundane chores and boring tasks, seemed a lifetime away, and as the lead figure strode toward you, the crowd's chaos faded into a feral hush. You stood frozen as he raised a hand, fingers pointing straight at you, ready to unveil secrets you had no idea you held. Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of home alive. Thanks for being part of it. An unexpected turn in a dusty village. The moment you felt the tall figure's eyes pierce into yours, time slowed. Was that a smile or a sinister grin? The villager's cacophony faded. You were a solitary island in a sea of tension. Sweat prickled at your brow as you stood, frozen. The lead figure advanced, his dark robes swirling like gathering storm clouds. Had he sensed the nagging secret lingering in your heart? "Step forward," he commanded. His voice dripped with authority, echoing through the hushed crowd. The villager's eyes widened, anticipation thickening the air like summer heat. You could practically taste their fear. As your feet moved against your will, a series of whispers rippled through the assembly. What did they find? Who is he? You wanted to shout that you were just an ordinary villager, simply sweeping dirt and stirring pottage. But that didn't seem to matter now. You gulped, heart hammering. Would he uncover your pathetic existence? Little did you know, just behind that imposing figure, shadows danced. The villagers flinched as a flash of movement caught your eye. A small, wiry girl slipped between the throng, arms laden with something you couldn't quite see. Wait, you wanted to call, but the words got stuck in your throat. As she approached the lead figure, you caught a glimpse. A small bundle wrapped tight with frantic care. She lifted it high, tiny fingers trembling, and dropped it onto the dusty ground. The sound echoed through the hushed assembly, and everyone leaned in, breath held. One of the robed figures knelt, inspecting the small parcel as if it were a deadly snake. When the wrapping fell away, a gasping gasp rippled across the crowd. Inside lay a few small, shriveled grains. "These are from our harvest," shouted a villager, voice trembling with panic. "They were supposed to be..." "Fine, what do you want from us?" The lead figure's expression soured, brow furrowing deeper into shadows. He raised his voice, projecting over the rumblings of the villagers. "These are blighted, accursed. You poison the Pharaoh's land with your treachery." Dread pooled in your stomach. This wasn't about regulations or taxes. It was turning into something darker. The villagers turned to each other, eyes wide, brows knitted tight. Paranoia crept its way into the air, like a slow, poisonous fog. Suddenly, the girl whimpered, her voice barely a whisper. "It's not true. I saw someone tampering with the grain." Her words were like a burst of lightning, sharp and unforgiving. Gasps echoed around you, scattering doubt and fear. Who would dare bring harm upon our people? The forward-leaning villagers reacted, engulfed in nervous whispers. You could sense the shift. They were desperate to turn the tide of suspicion. With a wicked grin, the lead figure straightened. Perhaps this settlement has secrets to reveal. Dark ones. We will find the traitors among you. He turned, scanning the swelling crowd like a hawk observing its prey. In that moment, you saw the glimmer of a plan in his eyes. It sent a shiver of dread down your spine. What sort of game was he playing? And why did those secrets seem tangled in your own life? You gasped silently, realizing something was about to unravel, something that could change everything. Just as he pointed again, not at you, but at a man standing nearby, he limped forward. You could almost hear the thudding heartbeat of impending chaos. There was no clear answer, yet something sinister loomed. Your breath caught, thoughts racing. What now? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A shocking revelation in ancient Egypt. As the tall figure pointed, tension soared. A bead of sweat trickled down your temple. The villagers whispered fervently, eyes darting to the man he was accusing. But before the whispers could turn into accusations, a sudden commotion erupted at the far edge of the gathered crowd. A young man stumbled forward, frantic, dust swirling around his ankles. "Wait! Stop!" he shouted, arms flailing as if he was waving away a swarm of flies. Curiosity turned into alarm. The crowd parted, eyes shifting from the lead figure to this unexpected interloper. You caught glimpses of sweat-soaked shirts and anxious faces. The whole village seemed to hold its breath. He collapsed at the feet of the lead figure, chest heaving. "You're looking in the wrong direction. It's not us. You need to look to the east, not the fields." Distant murmurs of confusion. The tall figure's expression soured further, his mouth twisting in disbelief. "What nonsense are you spouting?" His voice remained steady, but there was an edge, a warning. "They're coming," the young man gasped, looking around with wild eyes. "The raiders! They've been watching, waiting, crafting their plans. It's not the crops. They want our village." A chill swept through the crowd, paralyzing murmurs replacing the earlier tension. People looked at each other, brows furrowed, fear flickering in their eyes. Had someone been hiding this truth all along? Wind rustling ominously. Your heart raced alongside the drumbeat of chaos. The village was all you knew, just sweeping dirt and stirring pottage. But now the threat felt intimate, uncomfortably close. If what he said was true, that danger wasn't born from within. It came from outside these dusty walls. "Lies!" the lead figure barked, pushing the young man aside. "You try to turn us against each other." But the confidence in his tone wavered. "No," the young man pushed to his feet, eyes glaring fiercely. "It's the truth. All of you. You have to prepare. Whispers escalated into shouts as the villagers began to debate. How do we know he isn't lying? Could it be true? What should we do? The crowd surged with panic, like a wave crashing ashore. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed, shocking silence into the chaos. A hooded figure suddenly appeared, stepping forward from the periphery. Cloaks billowed like storm clouds, and a glint of steel caught in the fading sunlight. "What's this ruckus?" A voice as smooth as silk rolled through the hesitant crowd, dark and commanding. The sudden appearance sent a ripple of fear through you. The villagers froze, eyes wide. Was this just another robed figure, or something more sinister? As the hooded figure raised a hand, the air thickened. Tension weighed down like an unbearable load. You will soon learn that force can shape the truth. The words hung heavy, ominous. And just like that, all eyes turned on you again. What were you supposed to do now? Your throat tightened, heart pounding louder than the chaos surrounding you. What if you knew more than you cared to admit? What if the darkness watching was closer than everyone believed? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. An unexpected treason in the dusty village. You stood frozen as silence enveloped the crowd, eyes locked on the hooded figure. A chill raced down your spine, weaving in and out of your core, just like the anxiety skimming through the villagers. They were caught between two foreboding forces, the robed emissaries and this mysterious new arrival. Let's unravel this little plot, shall we? The hooded figure smiled, a glint of mischief flashing from beneath the shadow of the cloak. The tension snapped like dry twigs. Once again, all eyes turned toward you, as if somehow you were the key to this unfolding drama. You swallowed hard. What hidden truths danced behind your thoughts? Enough! The lead figure barked, stepping closer, his gaze narrowing on you. This is no time for frivolous games. His voice dripped with disdain as he pointed. The villager shrank back, as if expecting you to ignite a storm. But before you could process the gravity of the situation, something unexpected broke through the clouds of weighty silence. A strange tremor rattled the ground beneath your feet. Soft rumble. "No," someone whispered, glancing around nervously. "What's happening?" you murmured, eyes darting to the faces around you. Panic danced like startled flames. You could almost taste the electricity in the air, a charge foreboding something monumental. And then it came. A low, rumbling growl resonated, sending vibrations through the earth, like a warning. Distant thumps resonating. From the corner of your eye, a figure dashed out of the shadows. It was the wiry girl from before, her small frame darting through the crowd, eyes wild with panic. "They're coming," she cried, her voice cutting through the turmoil. "They've unleashed the curse." Urgent footsteps, shuffling. "Curse?" you repeated, a lump forming in your throat. "What curse?" The girl stumbled, disorientation swirling around her like an angry nest of bees. "Someone has awakened it. The ancient spirits. They're angry." The villagers' faces morphed from confusion to sheer terror. Whispers cascaded around you like a waterfall. A curse? Spirits? Old traditions whispered through dusty lives, tales long forgotten, tales of invocations and the dark power that loomed within the land. You thought they were mere stories, but now, with the ground quaking beneath you and a strange energy slithering, reality became harder to dodge. Suddenly, a branch snapped, and a thunderous roar erupted from the hills. An enormous creature lurched into view, wings unfurling like a dark cloud, blocking the sun entirely. It was unlike any beast you had known, scales glinting with menace. Fear tightened your chest as the villagers roared in panic, chaos erupting around you. The heavens rumbled and the earth trembled, as if both were warning you of an impending storm. As the giant creature drew closer, its fierce eyes bore down upon you. You felt an unshakable sense of dread, as if its gaze held secrets you weren't meant to understand. Were the secrets buried within the village? Or were they tied to your very existence? The cloaked figures exchanged glances, uncertainty hinting at their fierce expressions. The hooded figure stepped forward, an eerie calm gripping their movements. Now the real game begins. Everything spun as he turned toward you, his face obscured by shadows, but those eyes, those piercing, dreadful eyes, etched into your mind. What was your true role in this dark narrative? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. The curse unleashed. As the winged beast approached, the air thickened with dread. Its monstrous silhouette blotted out the sun, casting the village in a shadow as deep as your helplessness. You stood paralyzed, every heartbeat echoed ominously in your chest. The hooded figure, seemingly unfazed, raised an arm. "Let the games begin," they uttered, voice smooth and dark. It sent chills spiraling through you. This was more than just treachery. Something ancient and wrathful stirred. Then, as if waking from a nightmare, a familiar face broke through the crowd. Elder Miriam, her hair snow white and tangled, waved her arms. "Fetch the amulets, the talismans!" she cried, eyes wide with urgency. Amulets? You thought, confusion bubbling alongside your fear. Did they really think those dusty trinkets could stave off an ancient beast? The villagers hesitated, glancing from the fearsome creature to Miriam's frantic gestures. It felt like standing at the edge of a chasm, waiting for the inevitable fall. Then a push, a collective movement toward the elder. Some ran, while others clung to the ground, too afraid to move. Suddenly, your friend Khalid gripped your wrist, eyes wild. Do you think it's real? This curse? You gulped, struggling to find your voice. Of course, it's real. Just look. Oh, why did it feel like something deeper lurked beneath the surface of this chaos? From the crowd emerged Amira, the village's most skilled herbalist. The scent of herbs drifted from her satchel as she dove behind a piebald donkey. No talisman will save us if the whispers are true, she murmured, almost too quietly. Whispers? You echoed, leaning closer. What whispers? Tragedies from long ago, she replied, brows knit tight. Long before we tilled these lands, before the pharaoh ruled, dark spirits were imprisoned, and someone has awakened them. The ground rumbled again, louder this time. Questions surged around you like a crashing wave. What do you mean? Who would dare? Some say, Amira hesitated, eyes darting around. Some say the pharaoh himself has summoned these spirits to punish those who oppose him. A stomach-lurching tremor ran through the village. Panic swelled. You could see it mirrored in everyone's eyes. But deeper than fear, something else rumbled. Doubt about loyalty. Trust. What if the true menace lay within, not this creature outside? You turned, seeking answers in the village's faces. Old grievances flickered in hushed whispers. The seeds of division, rooted long before today. Were they accusing one another? Then came the sound, unmistakable. A low growl emanated from the creature. It hovered above the village, scales glinting in the light, reflecting a palette of crimson and black. Fear settled thick on your tongue. We need to fight. The words escaped before you could recall them. Then, laughter rang out, a chilling burst that sliced through the anxiety. The hooded figure stepped forward, almost gleefully. Ah, but isn't it delightful when the truth is exposed? The pharaoh and the traitors walk hand in hand. Everything froze. Your blood ran cold. What truth remained hidden? Suddenly, the villagers' unity seemed to fracture like delicate glass. As the beast descended, whispers flared into accusations, fingers pointed. Was this chaos orchestrated? And just as realization struck, a shadow moved behind the creature, dark and imposing. Another figure appeared. Its presence brought a new wave of dread. What lay behind this betrayal? Was the enemy watching closer than you feared? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like, as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening From and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A shocking twist unveils dark secrets. The shadows from the creature loomed larger as it threatened to engulf the village. Tension crackled in the air, as thick as the dust swirling around you. You could feel your heart racing, trapped between fear and an urge to act. "Let's unravel this little plot," the hooded figure repeated, amusement sparking in their eyes. The villagers hung on their words, terrified yet curious, like moths drawn to a flickering flame. Suddenly, from the sidelines, Elder Miriam's voice cut through the chaos. "No, you don't understand," she yelled, her tone sharp and urgent. "The spirits, they're not just awakened, they've been summoned." Gasps echoed through the crowd, eyes widening. What else could she mean? "They're here to reclaim what's theirs," Miriam pressed on, her hands shaking. "They want control. It's not only the pharaoh. They crave absolute power over us all." The beast let out a low growl, shaking dust from the rooftops. You felt it reverberate through your bones. Behind the creature, the cloaked figure smirked, clearly enjoying the frenzy. Their laughter echoed strangely. It seems someone decided to play the hero, they mused. But dear villagers, it's not just your lives at stake. It's the very essence of this land. Your mind raced. Whispers swirled about curses and betrayals, secrets tangled like thorns in your thoughts. Had everyone been lying to you? But who? Then, without warning, an ancient stone tablet, partially hidden behind a cluster of villagers, caught your eye. Its surface glimmered with strange symbols, worn by time, yet still shimmering ominously. "Look!" Your voice broke through the chaos. "What's that?" Everyone turned, curiosity cutting through the tension. Miriam moved closer, eyes narrowing. "It shouldn't be here. That's—" Her voice trailed off, panic settling across her wrinkled features. "It's the key to the curse." Surprisingly, the villagers didn't look concerned. Instead, a subtle shift in their stance began, as if they had all formed an unspoken alliance against you. Was it the spirit, or was it something deeper that had begun to unravel? The lead figure's smile widened, their gaze shifting from the tablet back to you. "Ah, but now we have a problem, don't we? The villagers may find comfort in such a relic, but trust me, it won't save them. Or you." The words hung heavy around you. There was an unspoken truth in what they suggested, a connection that lay beneath the surface. Suddenly, Khaled stepped forward, his face pale. "No, wait! A traitor exists among us!" Gasps ricocheted through the crowd, eyes darting. "It's true," you whispered, realizing the implications of his words. "We can't trust each other." The villagers shifted uneasily, whispers igniting once more. Accusations lingered in the air, thick and suffocating, and just as tension reached its peak, the ground quaked violently. You stumbled. The preacher roared angrily, shaking the very fabric of the village. But then, an unexpected figure emerged from the chaos. The wiry girl, panic-stricken and wild-eyed, clutching a jagged piece of stone. Her voice trembled. It's not just about them. As your heart hammered in your chest, you realized too late that this was no mere tale of loyalty. She held the very heart of the village's future in her hands, and the secrets she could unleash would break everything you thought you knew. Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. The unraveling secrets of a dusty village. As the wiry girl clutched the jagged stone, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. You could feel sweat mingling with the dust on your brow, your heart racing. What was she about to reveal that could alter everything? Do you know what this is? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. The sharp rock gleamed ominously in the fading light. You squinted at the rough edges. A pretty paperweight? Shut up. She shoved it closer. It's a shard from the ancient altar. The one no one dares to mention. This is how the spirits were trapped. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Panic danced through the villagers like shadows flickering in the twilight. The elder stood frozen, mouth agape, dismissing the girl's statement like a bad smell. But I thought those stories were just tales, you stammered, unsure if this revelation was more terror than truth. They were. The girl's eyes sparkled with desperation. But someone wants to unleash them. They've been plotting all along. The villagers shifted uncomfortably, their loyalty to each other wavering. Accusations simmered beneath wary glances. Who could possibly have such a vile motive? The cloaked figure leaned back, an amused smile creeping over their lips. And here I thought we'd found our scapegoat. But this, they gestured to the girl, may just change the payoff. Chaos erupted. Are you saying we've been harboring a traitor? A villager screamed, pointing, his voice thick with accusation. You glanced around, fingers twitching. Were they really considering turning on each other in the face of this new terror? It felt like living in a cauldron, bubbling over. It's true! The girl shrieked, her voice slicing through the tension. I've seen the shadows moving at night. They're gathering. Behind a beast, the hooded figure's expression shifted slightly, a glimmer of surprise sparking in their dark gaze. Suddenly, the ground shuddered again, sending you staggering back. Stop that! You shouted at the floor as if it could listen, desperate for any sense of normalcy. Elder Miriam stomped forward, determination in her old bones. We need the amulets. Gather the talismans now. Her voice cut through the panic like a knife. She dashed toward the frightened villagers. Or just run, you muttered under your breath. Awkwardly, the villagers shuffled, undecided, fear-heavy air choking any sense of order. Underneath it all, something dark stirred. Why? Hasn't the creature attacked yet? You thought, a twist of unease slithering in your gut. Were they waiting for something? The figure's grin widened, eyes glinting with cruel amusement. Then, a rustle broke through the crowd. A figure slipped by, unnoticed, cloaked, but moving with intent. Someone else was watching. Your heart raced anew. What now? But before you could finish your thought, a shout erupted from behind the creature. A villager stumbled into view, dragging something large and awkward. "Stop! Everyone, look! I found!" Screams erupted as it plunged to the ground, revealing a decaying animal carcass. The creature let out a roar that echoed across horizons. The earth shook beneath its weight. Someone was trying to summon it. It was too late to consider the implications. And suddenly, a wave of understanding crashed over you. This wasn't just a simple misunderstanding. The danger was much closer than anyone could comprehend. Your breath hitched. What secrets were left to unravel in the dust? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A disturbing secret in the dusty village. The tension surged through the crowd, as if a thick fog had descended. You could feel it prickling your skin. The massive creature roared, shaking dust from the rooftops, and scattered villagers like leaves in the wind. What was it waiting for? The wiry girl clutched the jagged stone as if it held the secrets of the universe. Then someone gasped. A villager moved back, shaking. What if it's just a trick to distract us? You could almost feel the incredulous stares boring into you. The whispers swirled, accusations darting through the air like angry fireflies. Elder Miriam suddenly launched herself to the front of the crowd. "Quiet! Listen!" The authority in her voice was clear, albeit shaky. "This isn't just about spirits or traitors. We've lost sight of the real danger. There's something more." As if on cue, a little boy at the edge of the crowd squeaked, "A secret." The murmurs picked up again. A storm of voices clashing together like pots in a bustling kitchen. "A secret?" you echoed, feeling a familiar lump in your throat. Miriam's eyes sparkled, a mix of fear and determination. "This village once had a protector," she began, voice trembling. "But years ago, the last keeper was betrayed." The villagers leaned closer, anticipation thickening as they hung on to her words. "We thought he was just a myth, a tale to keep children close to home. But he was real, and his power was bound to the heart of our land. When he was killed, that magic went awry. In this very village, he died. And the way the tales tell it," voice dropped to a whisper, "his spirit now lingers, waiting for vengeance." You exchanged glances with Khaled, bewilderment written across your face. This was new. This was nonsense. But the villagers stood riveted, caught in the spell of her words. "Wait, so we're just a bunch of easy pickings for a spirit-seeking retribution?" Someone shouted, eyebrows shooting up. "Exactly," Miriam sighed, exasperated. and whoever summoned that creature has likely awakened the very spirit that craves to reclaim its power. We are nothing but pawns in their game. The implications rolled over you like a dark wave. Someone was orchestrating a grand performance, and here you were, expected to play your part. Panic erupted. The creature billowed above, unfurling its massive wings, an ominous harbinger. The villagers shrieked, and suddenly they were all looking at you again. What now? Your heart raced as you clutched that thought close. Do we know who the traitor truly is? You blurted out, voice wavering. Or are we just going to keep pointing fingers? The laughter rolled from the cloaked figure. Ah, the timeless question. But it seems, dear villagers, betrayal runs deeper than you'd think. They waved a hand toward the heavens, and just then, a cold wind whipped through the village, swirling dust around you. The air thickened, and the creature lowered its head, nostrils flaring. Then from the very shadows cast by the beast, another figure emerged, an unmistakable silhouette that sent shivers down your spine. Elder Miriam's face blanched, recognition dawning in her wild eyes. Not him, she whispered, fear slicing through the buzzing air. The crowd parted, unveiling the figure stepping forward, eyes gleaming in the dim light. You held your breath as the truth dawning around you felt like a storm about to break. What awaited on the other side of this revelation? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished. And I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. As the dust settled and the echoes of fear dwindled, you stood among the villagers, hearts still thumping like the drums of an approaching storm. The creature circled overhead, wings casting ominous shadows. But you felt an unexpected surge of courage blooming within you, a stubborn little flower pushing through the cracks. Elder Miriam, gathering her wits like the old warrior she was, stepped forward, the jagged stone shard gleaming in her hand. This village has weathered treachery before. We fight for each other, not against. A collective murmur rolled through the crowd. They nodded, faces shifting from worried frailty to a newfound determination. With a flick of the wrist, you felt that held breath of anxiety deflating. And suddenly, it didn't seem ridiculous to believe in something greater than fear. A bond forged by shared histories and hopes. Grab the amulets, you echoed, your voice catching some like laughter after a long, grim day. Villagers rushed to the edges, scrambling to bring back their protective charms, shaking off suspicion like dust from old clothes. In a frenzy, each talisman glowing like softened gold. Hands waved talismans, prayers intertwined with the wind, as Miriam called upon ancient rites of protection. The creature hovered ominously, nostrils flaring, uncertainty dancing in its eyes. The once invincible beast seemed less threatening now, more like an uncertain shadow than a prowling predator. Then, in a flourish, the hooded figure stepped forward, face shadowed, yet unmistakably amused. "You think a few relics can shield you against the truth?" they taunted, voice dripping with malice. "Maybe you should worry about the truth?" You shot back, heart racing, reclaiming your voice against the looming dread. "Are you here for vengeance or to bury us in confusion? Because it isn't working." Murmurs swelled, doubt washed over the cloaked figure's face as the villagers rallied together, courage fueling their resolve. And it was in that moment, with talismans raised high and firelight flickering in their eyes, that the ancient spirits stirred in response, the curse unraveling like a frayed tapestry. The giant creature, feeling the buzz of resistance, hesitated, wings trembling. A loud crack echoed through the air, and there it was again, the whispered pulse of a long-held secret. You caught a fleeting glimpse of the wiry girl, standing tall yet nervous, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "We bind you once more, as our ancestors did," she shouted, her voice barely rising above the rest. And as the villagers united in a harmonious chant, the energy in the air thickened, swelling until it seemed palpable. The creature flinched, then let out a confused, pained roar, like the sound of shifting mountains. With glistening eyes, it retreated, folding its wings, the darkness ebbing like night surrendering to dawn. You'll pay for this," the hooded figure hissed, wrestling with disbelief as they vanished into shadows, leaving only the promise of lingering secrets behind. The crowd erupted, arms raised in victory, not only over the beast, but over the unseen chains that had bound them. Relief washed through the village, heavier than rain after a drought, warm like the embers of a fire at home. Worn but alive, you exchanged smiles with those who'd shared the day's terror, forging temporary unease. What secrets still lay waiting under the village, buried like forgotten bones? But that was a mystery for another day, one that might just linger in the corners of your mind. You must subscribe immediately to this channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Let's keep the calm corner alive. Flood the comments section with your theories and reactions about this wild ending. Don't wait another second to share this video right away with 5 friends who need to hear this conclusion. Only true fans understand the importance of this moment.